Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Joe, and I'm a weapon of mass instruction. Today is Saturday, December 8th, 2012, and it's about 2:30 in the afternoon. I'm going to try to make this quick because I got a call that interrupted the video halfway through, but I'm doing a lot of research. I mentioned last video or the video before that an Android app that I got called, the exact title is ESO Classics Plus. If you just look up ESO Classics, you should find it. And basically it's a compilation of a lot of different occult topics. You've got everything from the Kybalion, not the original, but the commentary that was written in 1902. I'm not sure where I could find the original, but I'm looking. Hopefully I can find it. It's got the Emerald Tablet of Hermes Trismegistus. It's got the Emerald Tablet of Thoth. And I'd like to, I'm going to look into that soon and see if it's the exact same thing or if it's totally different. I have a feeling it's totally different, but apparently Hermes Trismegistus is, or was, Thoth. A lot of legends surround the guy, but basically, you know, you guys already, you can find the story pretty easily. Apparently the father of all modern religions. All. Apparently he instructed Abraham in some of his lore. And apparently, from what I understand, the three main world religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, all contain fragments of his whole teaching. Pretty nifty stuff. But I was trying to put out this epic video, trying to detail what I've learned about the nature of the universe, which is, it actually is very similar to what I've already discovered on my own, but goes into more detail and more specific terms, and basically lays it out plain as day. All the stuff that I've looked into, but it never seemed to work out. I have a feeling it's something I'll never be able to articulate properly. It's something that each person is going to have to discover on their own. Anybody who's watching this and is interested, I do recommend looking into what I've already mentioned, and you'll find it easily enough. But what I want to talk about today is the circle. Again, part of ritual ceremonial magic and part of tarot magic when undertaken in the ritual format, the ceremonial format. Now, the basis of tarot magic, at least the style that I'm practicing, or learning to practice, is a more accurate term, is basically, it was founded by the Order of the Golden Dawn, of which Aleister Crowley was a member. And you know, like, a lot of the stuff that people hear about Aleister Crowley is probably blatantly false and at best very inaccurate. But yeah, regardless of what kind of a guy that the guy was, you know, that's besides the point. The fact is, the Golden Dawn correspondences are what this school of tarot magic is based on. But the circle is another integral part of the ritual spell structure, and you know, of course, you got it in ceremonial magic, that chalk circle on the floor or whatever you're gonna make it out of. And the purpose of it, from what I understand, it's got several purposes. It provides structure of the spell. It provides protection for the spellcaster from malevolent forces or energies, from you know, otherworldly or other planely entities, from anything they might evoke or invoke or summon. It's a general protection. You could use it to protect yourself from other people's spells. You could use it to protect yourself from energy in general. And also, it's a separation. It basically helps you to contain your thoughts within the boundaries and contain your energy within the boundaries of the spell until you're ready to put them out into the world. But in Tarot Magic, you use 12 cards to represent the circle. The 12 cards are chosen from the trumps, and I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail because there's like a whole chapter devoted to why the circle is the way it is, according to the Golden Dawn correspondence. And it's not set in stone. The guy who wrote the book, again, if you're not familiar, you don't want to look back on my other videos, it's Portable Magic by Donald Tyson. Apparently this guy Tyson, he modified the correspondences for his own rituals, for his own magic, because it made more sense to him. And apparently Aleister Crowley did the same, but in a different manner. And that's actually Aleister Crowley's modifications to it are what I'm going to be using, because it makes sense to me too. But here's the cards that you're going to use. The Emperor, which represents Aries. Oh, that's the other thing too. All 12 of these cards represent a sign of the zodiac. So it starts with Aries in the east, and that's where the Emperor is going to sit. Then you got the Hierophant, representing Taurus. The Lovers, representing Gemini. The Chariot, which represents Cancer. Let me check. Yep. Strength, which represents Leo. Yeah, Leo the Lion. The Hermit, which is, I believe, Saturn? No, Virgo, I'm sorry. The Hermit is Virgo. Oh, the word hermit is actually based on the name Hermes, from Hermes Trismegistos, because when you embark on this path, it's not something you can really talk about with your friends and family without drawing, at the very least, some odd stares, or at the very worst, getting burned at the stake, you know. Then you've got Justice, which is the scales. Was it Libra? Yes, Justice, Libra. Death is Scorpio. All right. I'm still memorizing the symbols, so it's pretty tricky for me. Temperance, or Sagittarius. The Devil, which is Capricorn. The Star, which represents Aquarius, and the Moon, which represents Pisces. The Moon card represents Pisces. There's actually a different card that represents the Moon. I gotta look into that. But this is what the layout is going to look like. You can see that. So note the compass rose I drew. You know, like I mentioned earlier, according to Tyson, you can sit in any direction. But apparently it's easier to sit in the west facing the east, because then when you're laying out the cards, it's a lot easier to remember. And you don't have to go everywhere with a freaking compass in your pocket. Most likely, at least when you're first starting, you're going to be working this magic in your own home, so you can figure out exactly where east lies pretty easily. All right. Basically, when you're working this exercise, first you lay out your significator, the card from the court cards that you chose to represent yourself, and then you lay out the rest of the cards in order from the Emperor, Hierophant, Lovers, Chariot, Strength, Hermit, Justice, Death, Temperance, Devil, Star, Moon. In that order, in that circle, so that the base of each card touches the edge of the base of the next card. And you've got a complete circle. It doesn't have to be perfect when you're laying these out. If they get separated from each other as you're working the exercise or any ritual, it doesn't matter. These are basically physical representations of the circle that you are constructing on the astral plane by using your imagination. Which, by the way, it's actually working out a bit for me. I started doing these videos where you can get hypnotized. And the cool thing about hypnosis is, as the hypnotic suggestions are going on, you're still conscious. Even though you might be in a trance state, or you are in a trance state, you're still conscious of what is being said to you. I recommend doing it when you're not too tired, because, like, you know, I did that a couple times when I was too tired, and I drifted in and out of wakefulness. But, you know, I like to be conscious for the whole thing just in case he decides to play a trick. But the guy's pretty trustworthy, and he hasn't. It's videos on YouTube from Ultra Hypnosis. And there's one in particular where you can get out-of-body experiences and, you know, astral travel. So I started doing that before I go to bed. And a lot of the time what'll happen is I don't remember too well what's going on, and what I do remember is jumbled up images. But when I wake up the next morning, I'm tired as hell. My whole body aches, like I've been up and moving around all night long. So I know it's working out, even though not quite to my original expectations. But that has helped me actually visualize this. So once you lay out all the cards, you're going to tap your significator, and you're going to start trying to manifest yourself in the astral realm. You're going to be standing in that room, your sacred room, your temple, facing the east, and you are, well, facing whichever direction you're actually facing is the easiest way to do it. And you're going to be standing on that rug that constitutes your card. Now, I have trouble visualizing the images of the cards, but from what I hear, if you can get it pinpoint accuracy, that basically says that you are actually like fully in the astral plane. You're standing on your rug, your significator rug, and then what you're doing is you're going to tap your significator. You say the all-in-one, and then you begin going around the circle. You're going to tap the Emperor first. You're going to say the Emperor. You're going to name the card, and as you do, you're going to visualize the card rug sitting out on the floor. All right, doesn't have to be far away from you, but I do recommend putting a little bit of space in the astral realm, like at least a good 10-15 feet. And you're going to visualize a rectangle or square of light sitting just over the rug, about a foot above it. All right, it's going to be a square of golden light or energy. And then you go to the next one, the Hierophant. Same thing. You're going to tap the card, and you're going to visualize, while you're doing this, visualize you pointing at that rectangle of light that's manifesting itself. So the Emperor, the Hierophant, the Lovers, and so on and so on. All right. And you know, go ahead and take a pause, but it's helpful to physically speak the names of the cards to help you visualize on the astral plane. Once you get to the moon, all right, and you construct that rectangle of light, you're going to tap the Emperor again and say the circle is complete. And as you say that, you're going to visualize a circle of golden light radiating from you out to where the rectangles are. It's going to hit the rectangles, and on those rectangles, this is another thing too. Try to visualize the symbols of the zodiac on each of those rectangles, because apparently that's helpful with actual like full-blown rituals. But again, I'm still trying to memorize it, so I'm not quite there yet. But again, try to visualize the signs of the zodiac on each of those rectangles of light. And once that's done, you know, then you say, you started with the all-in. I'm gonna get to that. I'm gonna open up the book real quick to make sure I'm telling you the exact right thing. I don't want to mix it up. And you know, frankly, from what I understand, you don't even have to really say anything. But these are just, you know, pretty much mnemonic devices or mental devices to help you get there. You know what I mean? Point, the ray, the circle. Okay. Right. So at the beginning, it's the all-in-one, and then after you complete the circle, the one and all. All right. And anytime you're not busy on the astral plane pointing at something or casting your will or your energy, then just leave your hand over your heart. And that's it. Once you get to the one and all, you're basically going to maintain that visualization of the ring of light expanding into the rectangles at the level of their zodiac signs. And for as far as the exercise goes, that's it. You just got to maintain it. I tried to go for a good 5 minutes, and once I felt my visualization weakening, at that point I didn't try to push it. I just stopped thinking about it. I ended that exercise. And again, just like with the others, you're going to lift the cards up in the reverse order. So when you're lifting the cards up, you're going to lift up the moon, the star, the devil, temperance, death, justice. You're going to go counterclockwise. And then once all the circle cards are lifted up, then you're going to lift up your significator. Boom, you're done. Shuffle them back into your deck to dissipate any energy. And again, I took this from the book High Magic, and it's something that makes sense to me. I don't know if I mentioned it yet, but it's the, let me get to it. What's the exact name? The License to Depart. License to Depart, there's no set way to say it, but basically, I now dismiss all spirits and energies that have been attracted to this ritual. Go in freedom, may peace be with you and me. Simple. And again, it's more mental than physically saying, as you're saying this stuff, it's more of mentally thinking it, mentally saying, okay, you may go now, peace be with you, You ever wonder about that? Why they always say that in church, peace be with you? Maybe they're talking to the spirits. Oh, snap. So that's how the circle exercise works, and I've done it twice now. The first time I did it, it seemed the energy seemed to be pretty weak, and I think mainly that's not because it actually is weak, it's just because I'm still learning how to tap into it. And there's no unified how, it's a lot of it is like, meditation and learning and then just doing. Like Yoda says, there is no try, do or do not. As you do, you get better. The first time it felt pretty weak, but this time, as I was constructing the circle and visualizing all those rectangles of light, I could actually feel, it felt like my whole body was vibrating, like there was a low-grade electric charge running through me. And I think that's, I'm on the right track, So don't be afraid if something like that starts happening. Is like, it felt a little trippy, but I got used to it, So I think that means it's starting to work out. And, the whole purpose of that exercise is simply to visualize and get into it and get used to it. Because when you're actually working a ritual, I guess it'd be helpful to not only have the instructions and steps written down right in front of you, you can write them out yourself. And, the book, once it finishes telling me all these different parts of the ritual layout, the planetary modifiers and all that stuff, which I am going to get into, once it's done with that, it'll give me a sample of a couple of ritual spells I could work for my own, to help me out in life. But basically, every spell you're going to do, it's going to have a specific purpose, and there's like literally like an infinite number of different spells. You can change the layout slightly. Like I took a look in the back to where those spells were. There's the ritual of banishing, where basically you're putting the 10 of each suit in the area, in the quarter of the circle where that suit is ruled. So sword in the east, pentacles in the south, cups in the west, and wands in the north, I think. And that seemed to be, it made sense. It made sense to put those there, especially learning what the number 10 represents of each of those. On the Kabbalistic tree of life, the 10 is the basically the flowering branches, the actualization of a process, or the actualization of creation. And so there you go. I hope that helps, and I would like to hear back from anybody who's been working on this stuff and practicing these exercises and getting into it, to hear your experiences, because it is, it's something that I want to put out there, and I don't care how many people think I'm crazy for doing this stuff, but I think it's something that if the general population started at the very least realizing that our thoughts are responsible for manipulating and influencing reality as we see it around us, then people will be a little bit more careful with their thoughts and how powerfully they focus on things, whether it's positive or negative. All right, that's that. Y'all stay safe. Peace.